Tax dollars at work. Federal government using a forklift to raise the wire so illegals can enter your country. Now, Supreme Court is telling us Texas has to remove the razor wire, which has been effective at securing our border. Texas is pushing back and saying, we're putting the razor wire back. You can tell us to remove it. It's not going to happen. That's the thing about messing with Texas. It doesn't go over so well. You know what'd be cool is if we blocked illegals from coming across the border. When federal agents aren't doing that, because their hands are tied by this administration, it's time for somebody with a vested interest, like the state of Texas, to take charge and do something about it. So here we go.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who taught me this truth. And peace and blessings with all sincerity to the hopeful elect. It's Zakar'Yah coming at you with another lesson. And Lord's willing, it'd be edifying. So I want to touch on the hot topic, the Texas border issue. And as you can see, what I have on the screen is a map of the states that are backing Texas. And you can almost slice this map directly down the center. You know, America, Babylon the Great. All right, spiritually, Sodom and Egypt, it's completely divided. You know, these Babylonians are divided on all sides. Okay, whether it's Democrat, Republican, whether it's the Edomites that are for this new world order, which they're trying to put in place, or the ones that are against it. They're completely divided on every single thing, no matter how minute it may be. And this is the Lord, man, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, doing his work, doing exactly what he said that he would do in the last days, which is bring destruction upon Esau, Edom, all right, which is the so-called white man, and his empire, America, Babylon the Great. So let me grab a precept real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2, and it reads, "And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." Right. And this is exactly what he's doing. And Lord's willing, this is the spark that gets everything on and popping pertaining to Jacob's trouble and the beginning of sorrows. Because we are here. We are living in the times which the Lord warned us about and told us to prepare for. Okay? Now, let's play a little bit of this. Play a little bit of this clip from the Poplar Report.
Things are seriously heating up down in Texas and across the United States as this whole border issue is becoming a hot button item. 25 governors have now signed a statement. This just happened yesterday that is denouncing President Biden's border policies and in support of Texas. We now have 14 states that have sent either National Guard or potentially State Guard soldiers to Texas in order to help with barriers and with processing and all that kind of stuff like that. 14 states have now, and this is according to the Texas website. So the Texas government website is now saying that 14 states have deployed personnel, state troopers, police, or some other form of personnel to Texas. This is Arkansas, Florida, Iowa, Idaho, Nebraska, North and South Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, as well as Wyoming. All of these states have already sent personnel to Texas. There is rumor going around on Twitter, and I'm not sure if it's based in anything. They said 27 states have now sent private militias. Now, private militias aren't under the auspices of any states, and so are private militias heading to Texas? Possibly. I haven't been able to verify that with any sort of a reputable news source, but...
And it wouldn't surprise me if there are private militias heading to the border, because we all know, you know, we're here in Florida and we know how these good old boys get down. It's nothing for them to jump in their pickup trucks, load up, their legally owned firearms and head that way. you know? So how much more so, the ones that are like close to the border, you know?
It doesn't make sense that that volunteers are pouring into the state of Texas. There are several militias in Texas that are helping with the border, and they are not directly under the government, but they are coordinating with government authorities to build barriers and to unarm patrols and that type of thing. Now, this is getting out of hand and getting out of hand fast. And one of the most notable things that I'm going to point out right off the bat is that...
it's getting out of hand fast because, hey, what did the Lord say? He was going to bring about sedition. All right. He was going to bring about sedition in the last days, man. So let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and we're going to start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And what's the modern day sword? Okay. Any killing instrument, man. Okay. Guns, grenades. It says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And that's exactly what you're witnessing right now. You're witnessing these states that are with Texas standing in their own power, man. Saying F-U-C-K, the Biden administration, and what they want. We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to do what we believe is right. And they have no regard for what the Biden administration is saying, man. This is, I got to read it again. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Right. They're not going to regard their laws, their legislation, their unrighteous decrees. They don't give two craps right now. And the course of their action shall stand in their hand. Right. They're doing what they want to do. They're tired of listening to you, and you, in their opinion, continue to destroy the country with the decisions that you're making, which is orchestrated because they want this America to fall so they can implement their new world order. But the people are fighting back. All right. So let's get the definition of this word sedition real quick. Sedition. It says conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against authority of a state or monarch. And is that not what's going on? All right. The Lord said he was going to bring sedition. And let's get the antonym of the word sedition. Rebellion, uprising, revolt, fictitious commotion in the state, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife between factions, civil or religious disorder, riot, rebelliousness against authority. Okay, right. All the things that you see in these third world countries has come to Babylon the Great. Okay. When you watch world news and you see the citizens with shirts tied around their faces, throwing Molotov cocktails, I think that's what they're called, and rocks and beating up police and riot gear, that's exactly what's coming to America, man. Exactly what's coming to America. Let's get real quick. This is Matthew chapter 12 and 25. And this is Yahushua speaking, who you people ignorantly call Jesus. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then the kingdom stand? Right, it can't. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. But that's the point. The Lord is bringing destruction of America, Babylon the Great from the inside out, man. And let's get that in the NLT, because that pretty much hits it home. And it reads, Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. All right. And this is exactly what's going on. Exactly what's going on. So let's go back here. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their hand. And a man shall desire to go in a city, and shall not be able, because the pride of the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, like I said, which is the modern day gun, and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right. All these things are coming down the pipeline to America, Babylon the Great, man, and ultimately to the world. OK. And don't forget about their
the United States Army
predictive programming with this Civil War trailer. All right. Remember? Let's go.
So leave the world.
19 states have seceded. The United States Army ramps up activity. The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens? We're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight and they...
See, you people are really about to find out that Esau Edom, man, this devil don't give two shits about you, man. You are just a number in his system, a cog in his machine. And it's to the point now where he does not need all of you whatsoever. Now that he has his AI, his artificial intelligence, the majority of you people are just, what does he call y'all? Useless eaters. And you're about to find out the hard way.
Capital. Every instinct in me says this is death. Blooded.
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you?
Your man say, we're American. What kind of American are you? Right. What side are you on? Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. All right. So I think I'm going to end it there. Let's play a little bit more of this.
That President Biden has been silent, absolutely silent, which has me concerned. Has me concerned that he thinks that this is a trap, that he's letting the Republicans, he's letting a bunch of these states, and particularly Donald Trump himself, walk into a trap. Just like 4 years ago, three years ago, January 3 years ago. President Trump said this, all willing states, calling for all willing states to deploy their National Guards to Texas to prevent entry of illegals and remove them back across the border. He said, Texas has rightly invoked the invasion clause of the Constitution and must be given full support to repel the invasion. If you're not familiar with this, basically, states are not allowed to activate their military and use it for border and for other purposes like this, unless invaded. And Texas has said, we are being invaded. And because of that, they've called up their National Guard to start taking action. Now,
so anyway, y'all can watch the rest of that. Let me get one last thing, because we're in these times, man. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? Right, the last days. Esdras was shown a vision, okay, and of the last days. I mean, he actually lived it. He was there live and in 4K, and you know, if you can receive it or not, reincarnation is real. So Esdras is, you know, here today. All right. So woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? The beginnings of sorrows and great mournings, the beginnings of famine and great death, the beginnings of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent for scourges, for amendment. All right. And we're at the beginning of sorrows, man. Things are only going to heat up from here. The Lord's willing, it was edifying. Shalom, Israel. Wa abad babal.